We'd show up at someone's door and sit down and talk with them and usually ask a couple questions. The two lead-in questions sort of went like this. Hey, if you were to die tonight, do you know for sure you'd go to heaven? And the second question is, hey, if you did die and you stood before God and he asked, why should I let you into heaven, what would you say? And then based on those two questions, there was a little gospel presentation we would do to walk people through sort of what it means to trust in Jesus and have a relationship with him. So that's how I learned to do evangelism many years ago. Here's what I want to convince you of if you don't know it already. That approach to evangelism does not work anymore. And it's not because we have cell phones and caller ID. And it's also not because the gospel has changed or Jesus is less compelling. The reason that approach doesn't work anymore is because it assumed certain things about the people you were talking to. It assumed that most people had a basic sense of God's existence, that most people had a basic familiarity with the Bible, and that they had a sense of guilt and their need for forgiveness. And so that approach to evangelism was just sort of connecting the dots. Hey, you know there's a God. You know you feel guilty because you've fallen short of God's standard. Did you know God has given a way for your sin to be forgiven through Jesus? You're just connecting the dots that already existed in most people's minds. We now live in a world where there are no dots. By and large, the people who live and work around you don't have a positive view of Christianity. They may not have a basic sense of the existence of God or a basic familiarity with the Bible. And they're generally not asking, how can I go to heaven when I die? So, how do we do evangelism in a world where there are no dots for us to connect?